Hey there. So today we're going to be going over a surface level demo. After you have selected your local Viking account that you'd like to sign up for, the first thing you'll do after you've created that is you're going to start syncing your locations in local Viking. First thing you'll do is you're going to click on the add account button, and that's going to run the authorization process by adding email address, password, and then you're good to go. It'll start to sync. After that, you'll select from the locations tab, you're going to select your location that you want to be managing. This is the dashboard view for it. So it's going to give you a basic breakdown. It will show you the statistics area, and you can select different date ranges from here. You can compare two different date ranges, but it's really just giving you some statistics information, pulling that into your account from your GMB. You'll also be able to see this calendar view, and this is really for any sort of post or photo that you have scheduled, whether it's historically or posted into the future. And that is everything for this dashboard section. Now the next section is going to be the edit tab. Going in here, you're able to edit or lock attributes in place, and basically what the locking functionality will do is if there's a malicious edit, our software will trigger that to be reverted to whatever information is locked in place here. That will definitely cut down your time management, when you are going through and managing your GMBs. But that is for the edit tab. Now next, you're able to go into the media tab, and this is where you're able to post any photo, to your GMB. Any existing photo will be synced in here, but to add a photo, you'll click on the plus sign right there or the add photo button. You'll specify your category, and then say you're unsure of the category it should fall into, and you added the incorrect category. You can also have it fall back to additional. You can have that enabled. So that way, if it were the incorrect category, say you're unsure, it will fall back to this additional and still be posted even if it is rejected based on that category. To add a photo, you can click on the select image, either upload your own or select from our gallery. And the gallery is royalty free, so you're able to go through, select a photo, and whether you upload it or select from the gallery, it's going to show the current EXIF on that photo. You can also have it fill with the recommended, which is going to populate placeholders that pull directly from your GMB. That's going to go ahead and autofill for you. You can also add the Latin long either independently if you wanted to, right here, independently, or if you wanted to have it pulled from the placeholders, and that's going to be, directly from your GMB. You can add a different Latin long in there if you wanted to, so you can do that independently. If you wanted, but click on the OK button and you're good to go. You can also schedule this for a specific day and time, and it's always posting out according to the time zone for that location. But that is everything for creating and, just posting photos from here. Next is the traditional posting, and this is a tab. This tab is going to allow you to see a timeline view for all of those that are scheduled out. You can have it sorted by different categories here. You can search by different categories and different statuses, but that's really everything for this view. To create a traditional post, you'll click on the plus sign, you'll specify the different categories there, different types. You'll add your content, and you also have the option to regenerate spin tags. You can insert post SERP URL, which is going to be for daisy chaining purposes. You can add the business domain URL to link your GMB website, add your photo with EXIF data, and then you can also have this scheduled for a specific day and time. And like I said before, it's always posting according to the time zone for that location. You can have this post recur. So say you want to post out once a week, so every 7 days, and say that you want it to expire after, let's say, like the 5th time. After that, hit submit and you are good to go. That is how you set up a traditional post. Now we do have bulk posting options, so a multi-location media and multi-location posting. Going into multi-location media, this is very straightforward. It's going to be the same setup as if you were setting up a media post. Posting from media. You're able to go ahead and select your location from the drop-down. This is for multi-location, so multiple locations, or if you have tags that are grouped under one label, that would be multiple locations under that one label, and you could select from this drop-down, so it's a bit easier to include those. And then going back into the multi-location posting, this is the same concept as well for traditional posting, just multiple locations or multiple tabs. And the next section we'll go into is for the CSV Book Upload. That's our last option, and this is going to be a CSV that you can download by clicking on View Example. It downloads, it has example information and the correct formatting to follow along with. As long as you're following along with that formatting, you're good to go. It'll be seamless for you to upload. Now this CSV can schedule months at a time, so it's really up to you how many you'd like to post out. But this is also something that's really helpful, especially for time management, because you can upload as much as possible into one CSV and have it scheduled, for months at a time. That way it is automated for you. So the initial setup with your GMB in Local Viking is the time-consuming part. The rest of it is really automated. But going back into the locations dashboard, So in the locations dashboard, you'll also be able to see that we do have keyword rank tracking capabilities. In this section, it's going to be using the keyword, or I'm sorry, the credits systems that we have in Local Viking. The first set of credits are going to be the keyword credits, and that's for traditional keyword rank tracking used in this section. That's a set amount that it replenishes with your billing cycle. It does not roll over, but that's used in this section, like I said. So click on Add Keywords. You'll add your keywords one line at a time. And then this is where it's using your credits. So if you have 1 credit per type, so it's 3 credits per keyword according to the check frequency, and that can range from 48 hours up to 1 month. So that is possible to be implemented there for you, and you can specify how aggressive you'd like to be tracking those. But those will present here after it's done pending. It'll check, according to your check frequency, so, tell you when it was last checked, and that's pretty much what it'll provide you with as well. But that is everything for traditional keyword rank tracking. The next section is for reviews, and this will pull in any existing review on the GMB as well as any new ones that are coming in. You can edit, delete, or respond from here. Questions and answers are very similar, so if there's an existing question, you can click on that. Go ahead and respond from here, edit or delete the responses. You can also add your own questions, or if you wanted to bulk upload them, that CSV is very straightforward. Just has 2 columns, questions and answers, and you're good to go. Just add that information in there, and it'll post accordingly to those. Next is for notifications, and this is for any sort of malicious edit, so you'll be notified by email or by text, as well as if there's new reviews, questions, or customer photos. But that is everything for this left panel here. Now, the next section is for the GeoGrid search, and that is powered by these GeoGrid credits there. That is a set amount that replenishes each month as well as rolls over. So, if you didn't, use it the previous month, you're able to access it the next. But going into the GeoGrid search, we have 2 options. We have live grids and schedule grids. A live grid is going to be a real-time search. So you're able to go through here. As soon as you add your settings here, click on that submit button, it's going to process and go into the history tab. Now I'm going to show the example here before we go into we'll do this dealership here. So we'll do this example before we go through the setup process. Now this is showing, so the GeoGrid search is showing my visibility based on my search term according to my location. So if I were to click on number 3, it's showing me 1, 2, 3. This is the top 3 pack. These are all of the competitors here in this list, as well as where they're showing up here on this grid. Now I can also grab the Latin long from here, and I could add that into geotagging for uploading photos or adding photos into traditional posting. So you could pinpoint specifically where you'd like to geotag. Say it's a service area business and you work in certain areas. You could upload photos from those areas that you were working in and geotag for those coordinates. So that is possible. Now this could be used for prospecting. It could be used for just personal use to see a real-time result. It's really up to you how you apply this, but it will provide you with that information. You can download as an image, as well as if you wanted to download the CSV for all of those coordinates. You can delete that, as well as copy the link and send that to support for review. Now I'm going to repeat this, but this is pretty much going to set up a new grid. So if I clicked on repeat, you have 4 options when you're setting this up. So Google search is for a non-service area location. So in this case, it's that Mazda dealership. Now, when you add the business name, it has to show up in this drop down here, powered by Google. And if it's not, that means it's a service area business and you'll want to use the map URL option. Place ID can be used. That's for, service or non-service area locations. My GMB is going to give you a drop down with all of the locations that are listed in the account. You can select from there. You add your search term. You can add local language. You can have that reflected. Standard search is using our infrastructure, so it's using that credit system. Places API key can be added onto the account. However, that is only for the Google search option because that's for non-service area locations only. So this is not for service area. You'll need to switch to standard search. There will be a variation between the two. However, they're both accurate. They're just looking at 2 different kinds of GMBs. Really, this is combining and this one's focusing on just non-service area. Sticky grid can be enabled where you're able to drag and drop to different locations, see if you wanted to see what your visibility was in a different area. The distance is in meters or miles, and it does go up to a pretty large distance in between those two. So it's really up to you how you'd like to go about the settings. Grid size. So this is what's using your credits. So if you have a 13 by 13, that's 169 dots that are on this grid, and that's 169 coordinates. Because 1 dot is 1 coordinate and 1 dot is also 1 credit. So that's why there's 169 credits that are being used for this 13 by 13, because it's really just 13 times 13 is how we calculate those credits. So a 3x3, the smallest, that's going to be 9 credits that it's using. Every time you hit that search button, for a new search, it's going to be using those credits. So we'll deplete that amount there by the grid size, whichever you selected. But that is everything for live grids. Now, the scheduled grids are a little bit different. Those ones can be automated. So they're running in the background for weekly or monthly. And what happens after the second time it runs is that it's after you set up the configuration, it creates a timeline with intervals that are checking on it. I'm going to show the example before we walk through the actual setup, and I'm going to use this example here. This shows me the basic breakdown. It's also going to show me different search terms I've added, and I'll also show how to set that up. But you'll see the different search terms in this dropdown, and you can select from here. Now this one's been running since February. It's not present day in November here. If I were to slide back through here, I can see all of the intervals that have accrued on this timeline. I can also create an animation with this where I click on generate GIF with no loop, and I can go ahead and select this is going to show, it's pretty subtle for this example, but it's going to show that progression over a period of time and how this grid has changed during that time frame for all of those different intervals. Now going back into this section, so you can create the animation, you can download a snapshot of this grid specifically. You can also trigger it to run. So if I click on scheduled, it's going to create another interval on this timeline, and live will revert it to the live grids. Now to create this configuration, I'm going to click on new config. Same setup from when you're selecting the GMB. And also if you select my GMB, that's going to link your GMB that you're managing in your account, and you can pull the initial GeoGrid search with the most recent on that timeline and have it linked into your reporting section, which I'll walk through here in a moment. But think of the scheduled GeoGrid search as under one configuration is your GMB. Under one GMB, it's going to be multiple search terms. And under each search term is going to be one of those timelines that are accruing. So all of these are treated as separate GeoGrid searches. And with that timeline. So the grid size. So if I have a 3x3 grid, which is going to be 9 credits, that would be 9, 9, and 9. Running at the same time, depleting from this number here. So as soon as you create the configuration, it's going to trigger according to your settings down here, and that's applied to each of those individually. So if you have 9 credits, 9, 9, and 9, like I said, it's going to trigger all at the same time. So if you were to log into your account, you can click on the GeoGrid credits or keyword credits. That will take you to the billing page. You can also see the transaction history from there. But once that's complete, you're good to go. You'll click on configs and list. It'll show that, that and listed. But that's how you set up scheduled grids. Now going into the reporting section, you're able to go through here. The reports, it will show you any sort of report that's existing. Configurations, click on create configuration. You'll select the location from the dropdown. Properties can be included. You can, and that's all pulling from your statistics area in your account for individual GMBs. You can exclude metrics that are intervals of 0 or include metrics that decrease in the reporting period. Data period can be running for week or month, and comparing baselines whenever you add the location into Local Viking. Schedule can be running for weekly or monthly, and that's for this report to generate. Notified users, if there's any sort of sub-user team member on the account, it'll go ahead and show up in the dropdown. If not, it's just going to go ahead and revert to the owner. 2, subject message, that could be for yourself, whomever you'd like to have that sent to. Could be a client. White label configuration, I'll show in a moment how to walk through or how to set that up and everything, and where to locate it in your account, but it will show up in this dropdown if you have an existing configuration. And that's for the Pro Plan or higher. So 20 locations or more can access white labeling. The single and the starter accounts cannot. But going into the reporting section, so from here, we're able to go through and see, I'm going to look at the PDF version first. So this is the PDF version. There's 2 locations included. And this is going to just be, you can see the white label information. It's very simplistic. So this PDF version, like I said, it's very simplistic. It's not interactive, but you'll see information on the graph as well as the current change in the previous. You can also see this is an example of intervals that are 0, and so it's showing that graph listed there. Now the public URL is a little bit different. It is more interactive, so anyone with the URL for this link can, or this configuration, can access that. So that report will generate. It's going to show this public URL for it, but it's more interactive to the point where you're able to slide along with the different date ranges. You can also hover above the categories to get a better understanding of them. Say you send it to a client and they're not sure. You can have that, an option to, hover above it to see what that actually is. You can also jump to locations, and then in the setup, you're able to select, once you select the location, you're able to add keywords or search terms that you want to include in this for the initial and the most recent GeoGrid searches. Now, this is an example of metrics that are not quite lining up. So this GeoGrid search is running for monthly, whereas this report's running weekly. So technically in this situation, those are being pulled in at the same time. So this is the oldest, this is the newest. They're basically the same one because of the schedule that they're running on. So you want to make sure that the scheduled GeoGrid search is running for the same timeline that the reporting is, so that it's a seamless, seamless upload. You're good to go. But that is actually everything for the reporting section. Now going back into the organizations tab, you have team member options. You can click on invite team member, add their email address, their name, assign them a role. Members can access specific locations, whereas an admin can access the entire account. Both options can't access any owner privileges, so upgrading, downgrading, those sort of things. And then Google accounts, you're able to add any Google accounts that you'd like in here. You can enable or disable those for management by clicking on the email address, enabling, disabling, whatever you'd like to do. Once you do enable it, it will start the sync process again. It'll trigger that to run. You can add, and then in your billings tab, you can also access all of your billing information. Now, if you sign up with a PayPal account, it's going to be separate. It will be a little bit, it's an integration, yes, but it's going to be a little bit more, it's going to be more manual. If you sign up with credit card, it will list your information here in this section. You can also click on the transaction history for both keyword credits and GeoGrid credits. Say you signed into your account and you saw this depleted, you're unsure of why that happened. Go into your transaction history and you're able to go ahead and see that and follow along. But that is actually everything for Local Viking. Now, we do have support that's available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have chat support that's available down here in this bubble. That is going to be, accessible for, any of our customers, or just if you had random questions, before sign up. So you're able to access, support at any point. We also have help documents that are listed in this drop down. If you go into the help document center, we do have a YouTube channel that lists all the different videos that are located for all of our functionalities. But yeah, so message any questions, just go ahead and message support. We're more than happy to help you, or jump on another call with you or anything like that. But alrighty, have a great day.